North America and Europe utilize different alternating current power frequencies, that is 60 Hz and 50 Hz respectively. This difference can lead to phase differences, which can result in significant voltage differences between the electrical systems. These voltage differences, combined with surges, spikes, and transients common in electrical systems, can potentially create a continuous alternating current flow through the ocean's saltwater, given its conductive properties. The flow of electrical current through the ocean generates electromagnetic fields around the transmission cables. These fields can affect marine life, especially species that rely on electromagnetic cues for navigation, communication, and prey detection. The voltage differences and current flow could induce electrolysis in seawater, producing byproducts such as hydrogen and chlorine. These byproducts can alter the pH and chemistry of the ocean environment and potentially harm marine organisms. Studies indicate that electromagnetic fields can induce changes in gene expression, metabolism, and behavior in marine organisms. Continuous exposure to electromagnetic fields from transmission cables can disrupt normal physiological processes, reduce survival rates, and affect population dynamics. Altered gene expression and disrupted physiological processes in marine life can have broader impacts on the ocean ecosystem. Reduced populations of sensitive species can weaken the food web and affect overall biodiversity. The creation of electrolysis byproducts can also have negative consequences for water quality and aquatic life. Further scientific investigation is needed to fully understand the potential effects of seabed transmission cables on marine life. Mitigation measures should be considered, such as using insulated cables, burying cables deeper, or implementing electromagnetic field shielding technologies. Now let's delve into a more detailed explanation of the various aspects. First, voltage differences and current flows. The alternating current power grids in North America and Europe operate at different frequencies, 60 Hz and 50 Hz respectively. This frequency difference leads to a phase difference between the two systems. The phase difference means that at any given time, the voltage waveforms in the two systems may not be aligned. Sometimes, North America might be at its positive maximum voltage while Europe is at its negative maximum voltage. This misalignment creates a voltage difference between the two systems. These voltage differences, along with the presence of surges, spikes, and other high-frequency transients that are common in electrical power systems, can potentially drive a continuous alternating current flow through the ocean. Seawater is conductive due to its salt content, which allows it to carry electrical current. The ocean acts as a path for current to flow between the two systems, driven by the voltage differences. The magnitude of this current flow depends on several factors, including the voltage difference, the conductivity of the seawater, and the distance between the grounding points of the two systems. Second, electromagnetic fields. When electrical current flows through a conductor, it generates an electromagnetic field around that conductor. In the case of seabed transmission cables, the alternating current flowing through the cables generates an alternating electromagnetic field in the surrounding water. The strength of the electromagnetic field depends on the magnitude of the current and the distance from the cable. Marine organisms that are sensitive to electromagnetic fields can be affected by these fields. Some species use electromagnetic fields for navigation, communication, and prey detection. The presence of strong electromagnetic fields from transmission cables can interfere with these natural processes. Sharks, for example, are known to be highly sensitive to electromagnetic fields and use them to detect prey. The electromagnetic fields from the cables could attract or repel sharks, disrupting their normal hunting behavior. Other marine organisms, such as migratory birds and sea turtles, use the Earth's magnetic field for navigation. The electromagnetic fields from the cables could interfere with their ability to navigate properly, potentially leading them off course. Third, electrolysis and byproducts. Electrolysis is the process of using electrical current to drive a chemical reaction. When electrical current flows through seawater, it can cause electrolysis, which breaks down water molecules into hydrogen and oxygen. In addition to hydrogen and oxygen, electrolysis of seawater can also produce other byproducts such as chlorine and sodium hydroxide. Chlorine is a toxic gas that can harm marine organisms. Sodium hydroxide is a strong base that can alter the pH of the water. The production of these byproducts can have a negative impact on the marine environment. The amount of electrolysis that occurs depends on the voltage, current, and duration of exposure. Fourth, effects on marine life. The electromagnetic fields can induce changes in gene expression, metabolism, and behavior in marine organisms. Studies have shown that exposure to electromagnetic fields can affect the way that cells function and can alter the production of proteins. These changes can have a variety of effects on marine organisms, including changes in growth, reproduction, and immune function. For example, some studies have shown that exposure to electromagnetic fields can increase the risk of cancer in marine organisms. Other studies have shown that electromagnetic fields can affect the ability of marine organisms to reproduce. In addition, electromagnetic fields can affect the behavior of marine organisms. For example, some studies have shown that exposure to electromagnetic fields can make marine organisms more aggressive or less able to avoid predators. Fifth, environmental implications. Altered gene expression and disrupted physiological processes in marine life can have broader impacts on the ocean ecosystem. Reduced populations of sensitive species can weaken the food web and affect overall biodiversity. The creation of electrolysis byproducts can also have negative consequences for water quality and aquatic life. The ocean ecosystem is a complex and interconnected web of life. Changes in one part of the ecosystem can have cascading effects on other parts. For example, if the population of a certain species of fish is reduced due to exposure to electromagnetic fields, this can affect the populations of other species that rely on that fish for food. Similarly, if the water quality is degraded due to the production of electrolysis byproducts, this can affect the health of all marine organisms in the area. Sixth, further research and mitigation. Thorough scientific investigation is needed to fully understand the potential effects of seabed transmission cables on marine life. Mitigation measures should be considered, such as using insulated cables, burying cables deeper, or implementing electromagnetic field shielding technologies. Before installing seabed transmission cables, it is important to conduct thorough environmental impact assessments. These assessments should evaluate the potential effects of the cables on marine life and the ocean ecosystem. Based on the results of these assessments, mitigation measures can be implemented to minimize the impacts of the cables. One mitigation measure is to use insulated cables. Insulated cables reduce the amount of electromagnetic radiation that is emitted into the surrounding water. Another mitigation measure is to bury the cables deeper in the seabed. This reduces the strength of the electromagnetic field at the surface of the water. A third mitigation measure is to implement electromagnetic field shielding technologies. These technologies can be used to block or reduce the electromagnetic fields that are emitted from the cables. In conclusion, the potential effects of seabed transmission cables on marine life are significant and warrant thorough investigation. Understanding the voltage differences, electromagnetic fields, and potential electrolysis byproducts is crucial to ensure the protection of marine ecosystems and mitigate any adverse impacts.